between the Montclair Mounties and the Golden Eagles of Morris Knolls. Hi, everybody. I'm Matt Laughlin. The high school football season is down to its final weeks in New Jersey. The winner of today's game advances to the championship round next Saturday. The loser puts the equipment and the uniforms away until the 1991 season. Montclair played Morris Knolls in the semifinals last year. The Mounties lost 18-0. There are some revenge motives at work for Montclair because of that, and they return an awful lot of starters who participated in that game. So last year's game is not a distant memory, it's a very fresh one for Montclair. Meanwhile, for Morris Knolls, their program is designed around seniors. They build up through the underclass till they reach their senior year when they start. So, therefore, it is a distant memory for this team. They only have 3 players on this club who started last year. So, 18-0 victory last year over Montclair means nothing to this Morris Knolls club. Working with me on today's game is the doctor, Al Reynoso. And Al, it's playoff fever time.
Well, it sure is. This is the day that all these clubs, when they start out in the beginning of the season in September, they talk about the fact that, they want to get into the playoffs. Both these clubs have battled a real tough schedule to get here. It's Morris County against Essex County. It's last year's revenge factor you spoke about. It's a big ball game.
Morris Knolls has run the Veer offense under veteran head coach Bill Regan for his 16 years. They run it very well. They executed very well, Al. That's going to be a challenge for this Montclair team.
Well, Morris Knolls runs a very, very disciplined offense. They're very disciplined on defense. They're not very big. They're quick. They're fast. They study the game very, very well. They come up through a program that starts them very, very early, and I think they have an outstanding chance to win the ball game, but there's a lot of things that are going to be a factor this afternoon.
The only returning offensive starter for Morris Knolls is Bill Harris.
Bill Harris is their leader offensively. He leads the team in scoring. He leads the team in ground gaining. He's an outstanding back. He's a kid that was back from last year, as you say, Matt, and Montclair's going to have to shut him down if they're going to shut down this Morris Knolls offense.
Montclair is big. They've got size. They've got speed. The offensive line is real big. Does their advantage size-wise matter, Al, in this game?
Well, I think it does, Matt. The field is very, very soft, and if you've got size, you can blow people away. They're averaging 6'1", 235 across the front line, and, that is an outstanding advantage. But, they've got speed in the backfield, huge offensive line. They have to make that a factor by keeping the ball on the ground and using it to their advantage.
Morris Knolls will try to offset that size advantage with a low blocking level, low pad level, Bill Regan calls it.
Bill Regan says that in Morris County they play a different brand of football, that they play low pad level. They're going to scramble block against these big Montclair offensive and defensive linemen. They're going to be low all the way. They're going to play that low football and try to turn it around for themselves. They study that. They practice it. It's their way to play the football game. Low pad level is the key word, and that's what they like to do. That's what they're going to try to do this afternoon.
So, Al, finally, what does this game hinge on?
Well, I think the game hinges on 2 things. One, Montclair has outstanding size and speed. Morris Knolls has outstanding discipline, outstanding confidence. Both clubs are very, very confident. Both coaches think they have a good shot, and the rest is going to be told right here on the field.
Well, we hope you enjoy the action as it comes your way from Woodman Field. Al and I will be back with the opening kickoff right after this. North 2 Group 4 matchup in the semifinal round. Bill Regan Jr., the head coach of the Morris Knolls Golden Eagles in his 16th year. Looking on from the far sideline, Jack Davies, the veteran coach. Although he's only had 7 years here at Montclair, they've been exceptional years. Overall, Jack has coached for 24 years, 17 years as head coach at Butler, 7 at Montclair. Morris Knolls will receive the opening kickoff from Brad Lister. Back deep to receive the kick for Morris Knolls, Jeff Standfast, Scott Rowe, and John Leslie. And we have a flag thrown as the ball has skipped out on the far sideline. And Montclair will have to re-kick it. This time they'll march back 5 yards.
There was a big question about whether or not Morris Knolls touched the football. That would have been a factor. Had they touched it and gone out of bounds, the ball would have been theirs at the point. The backs very intelligently covered it so that Montclair couldn't come down and grab it, but let the ball go out of bounds and put it back. As you can see, the official marking off 5 yards. There's the Montclair sideline. They're very enthusiastic. The whole town is fired up for this ball game and this contest and this race for the championship.
Montclair undefeated at 9-0. Morris Knolls 8-1. Montclair comes in ranked number 1 in the TV3 poll, number 1 in the Star Ledger poll, number 8 in the USA poll of national clubs.
Outstanding talent on this club, and they have put it all together this year. They really have played a tough schedule and put it all together. Here we go again.
And it will be Rowe. Rowe brings it across the 40-yard line, and a good return for Scotty Rowe, and good field position for Morris Knolls. Up front, the Golden Eagles look like this. Left to right, Tom Inglese, Paul Preber, Mike Mascarina, Mike Wilson, and Bill Shivis. The backs and receivers in the backfield will be Pierce and Harris. The split end is John Leslie, although he will be rotated with 2 others. The tight ends are Greg Parisi and Pat McNichol. The quarterback is Phil Falco. He is a senior. And the dive play to Harris gains nothing as it's read well by the interior defense of Montclair. For the Mounties, they go with a 4-man front, although it looks like a 60, Al, and we'll get into that. Len Watkins, Darrell Lipscomb, Mark Elder, and Earl Lumpkin up front. The linebackers are Darrell Elder, Corey Higgins, and Howard Goldborn. Deep, Garland Thornton and Dyro Patterson are the corners. Gary Sistrunk, the strong safety, and the free safety is Afkin Matthews. 2nd down and 9. Falco swings one out for Harris. He's met in the backfield for a loss. Loss on the play as Gary Sistrunk read this play very well.
You see Falco stumbles a little bit, getting away from the hard charge by Montclair. The backs come up very quickly and read this out pattern, and they stop that one for a considerable loss, or at least a lack of a gain. So Montclair has stopped these first 2 downs and has put Morris Knolls in a passing situation.
And that is not a position Morris Knolls likes to find itself in. Harris takes the handoff and gains nothing, and so a strong defensive effort for the Mounties in the early going.
One of the things that Montclair told us was that they weren't ready for this offense last year when they got blanked by Morris Knolls, and this year they've had a lot better organized defensive practices. They're ready for this veer offense. It's a ground offense. It's not much of a passing offense. Montclair certainly has shown they've been ready in these first series.
First punt from Jay Hines. He slips as he gets the ball off, and it will be down at the 36-yard line. Good field position for the Mounties. We'll talk about field position or field conditions in just a moment. But let's set the offense for Montclair. Up front, their offensive line, that big 6'1", 235-pound average. Mark Elder, Len Watkins, Jason Rolke, George Wood, and Jim Vigna. The backs and receivers, Garrison, the tailback, Higgins, the fullback, Jason Curry, the flanker, the flex end is Steve Sudavar, Brian Marriott is the tight end. And the handoff goes to Higgins, who picks up about a yard. Defensively, a 4-man front for the Golden Eagles. Greg Parisi, Paul Preber, Tom Inglese, and Bill Shivis. The linebackers are Falco, McNichol, Mascarina, and Kirchner. And deep, they've got Standfast, Rowe, and Grant. 2-yard pickup, 2nd down and 8. First pass of the afternoon for Ponton, and he has Marriott, his tight end. Marriott is across midfield to the 49-yard line.
Montclair has everything going for them. Now let's take a look at this play. It's a little fake into line, roll to the left. They hit the end on the out pattern, and he has a lot of room out there as he turns it up for an initial first down. So we see the first down of the ball game. Montclair has moved the ball and has put themselves 10 yards closer to the Morris Knolls goal line.
Marriott, the second leading receiver on this club. Garrison picks up about a yard. Marriott, in a game we televised earlier on TV3, the victory for Montclair over Bloomfield, hauled in a 70-yard touchdown pass in that ball game. He has caught 4 touchdown passes on the year. He is a senior, 6'4", 200-pounder. Sudavar, we mentioned, is the flex end. Simply put, he will line up tight sometimes. He will split off on the line sometimes. He will line up as a flanker sometimes. Second down as Ponton passes complete to Jason Curry. They've got a slew of receivers out. Curry, now catching his 22nd pass of the year, is only a junior. Marriott caught his 20th just a moment ago, and Sudavar has caught 18.
Curry is an outstanding receiver. He's a baseball player, has great hands. They like to get the ball to him whenever they can. That time he did a great job. The footing is very slick, and the receivers are having trouble with their patterns.
Ponton has completed 52% of his passes and really has improved his passing game. That's been a key for this Montclair surge this year, as Corey Higgins picks up about a yard to, we'll call it the 34. The ball was marked after that reception by Curry just inside the 35. Second down and 9. Tackle on the play made by Bill Shivas.
Remember, Montclair has no problem throwing the ball if they have to. This is a 2nd and 10.
Higgins running right side, maintains his balance and gets inside the 30-yard line. Good leg drive by Corey Higgins.
That time the Morris Knolls defense did what it normally does. They show up, they pursue well, but they just didn't bring him down. Watch this. Now, there's 3 helmets right there. A 4th one comes in, and he doesn't go down until he surges forward. Look at that. He got himself another 2 to 3 yards just on personal individual effort. Very dangerous in terms of the ball coming loose. But Morris Knolls was there. He just got himself more yardage individually.
3rd and 4. Interesting alignment here in the backfield. Darrell Elder has come in for Higgins, and Curry catches his 2nd pass of the day. He's at the 20-yard line, and that'll be a Montclair first down. Coverage provided by Jeff Standfast.
Jason Curry, 6'3", 210, only a junior, and he knows how to run a pattern. He just went down, saw the open area, just sat down and caught the ball. The ball was delivered nice and low. Impossible to intercept that kind of pass.
We saw last time Sudavar, that flex end, lining up in the backfield. He does it again. Look how tight he is out behind the tackle, Vigna. And it is Garrison down to the 15-yard line. Now, when you bring Sudavar into the backfield like that, we saw how tight he was lined up, really there solely to block. He was behind George Wood. You've got Sudavar 6'2", 170, following behind Wood at 5'11", 220, and Vigna 6'4", 280.
And they just made a little hole there, more like a phalanx, like a V, just fired right in there, and the back went right up inside. And, you know, they get real tight and make it look like a running play, and then they just roll out and throw the ball, so it's very hard to defend.
Toss to Higgins, and Higgins is down near the 12-yard line. Higgins, an interesting story out. Montclair really wasn't sure what he would be able to do this year. He saw a little preseason action, a couple of practices, got hurt, was only okay to play out a few days before the Bloomfield games. They really didn't see him at all during the preseason, and he has really come on like gangbusters.
Has outstanding outside speed. He's a very, very improved runner, and he runs the ball. There he goes.
And he is down to the 5-yard line and a first down. Impressive drive for the Mounties. They held Morris Knolls defensively, and they have been able to move the ball offensively.
Very, very smart play selection on this drive. They've gone inside, they've gone outside, they've thrown the out pattern, nothing deep. They've just chipped away at this Morris Knolls defense.
Higgins met at the line of scrimmage and sent back. Good play made by Pat McNichol, the linebacker, who met him right away. Watch 81 in the center of your screen.
Goes right inside. Now, right here is where he makes the pop, keeps his leg and his tilt forward, and drives the ball carrier back. Great job defensively by the Golden Eagle defense. Pat McNichol, 5'11", 181, number 81 in that defense, a senior-dominated club.
One of the returning starters on defense as the handoff goes to Garrison, and he is down near the goal line. and he is about as close as you can get in now without scoring a touchdown.
Garrison turned his shoulders a little bit. Had he gone straight in, north and south, he'd have scored, but somehow he was hit, and he turned his shoulders sideways, and he goes down. Let's take a look. Now he's going straight in. Right here, he turned sideways, and that's what prevents him from really driving across. His body was a little bit turned sideways. Couldn't score. Montclair should pump it in right here.
4:20 left to play in the first quarter. 3rd and goal. And it goes to Higgins, and Higgins is in. His 8th rushing touchdown of the year, and Montclair has jumped out in front.
Montclair's sideline has gone wild on that touchdown, and I'll tell you, he went in only by a little bit. Let's take a look. He only gets the ball across the line of scrimmage because Morris Knolls really stacks it up there. Look at the way he just dives up, gets airborne, and just gets into the goal line, crosses the plane, breaks that invisible barrier, and 6 points go up on the board for Montclair.
Lister on for the extra point. Good job by Sudavar to get the ball down. The ball sails through the goalpost, and it's 7-0.
Great job by kicking that extra point. The Morris Knolls, the snap was low, and it was in the dirt. That's very muddy in the middle of the field. And they set it up. The Morris Knolls defense was right in his face, and he just kicked it right up through there. Did a great job.
Bill Regan talking to his troops, trying to get them fired up. He was concerned about this Montclair team, though he was confident that his club would be able to execute against Montclair. He said, hey, last year we might have caught them by surprise. He said they shot themselves in their foot a little bit. They may have looked past us to a final. He goes, they won't do that this year, and they are big and they are strong. For Montclair, leading 7-0. That scoring drive capped a long series of plays. Higgins capping it with a 1-yard run. 13 plays going 64 yards.
Very impressive drive, Matt. A very impressive team. They're ranked nationally as a football team. They put it all together. 8th in the country by some national polls. And they looked it on that drive. No outstanding individual, just a team effort.
Short kick. And at the 25-yard line, Damon Kirchner is able to bring it up to the 31-yard line. And let's see what this defense can do after being so strong on the first series. Al, we talked about it. You mentioned that Montclair last year felt that they did not practice well against the Veer, and that hurt them against Morris Knolls. This year, Tim Mahan, one of the assistant coaches, ran the quarterback spot during practice this week. And Jack said he's quick. He's a very good athlete, played for Jack at Butler High School, and he said he really gave us a good look. The pitch to Harris. He's got the corner. Is driven out of bounds by Atkin Matthews.
Harris, a great back for this type of offense. And don't forget, in that first series, they stayed inside. They threw that pass. This time, all that running inside set up the outside pitch. Harris gets the corner, comes up the sideline, doesn't have outstanding speed, but a good back. And they get some nice yardage on that play.
He has been running this offense. We have a timeout called. The T was not taken off the field after Lister's kickoff.
The T-man is in big trouble.
2nd down and short. As I was saying, Harris has a good feel for this offense. He's been running the Veer since 6th grade. He loses the ball, but it falls out of bounds, and it'll be enough for a first down for Morris Knolls. Harris lives in Rockaway, as does Scott Rowe, the backup quarterback. And they run on the youth level, at 6th grade level in Rockaway Township, the Veer offense. So Bill says that Harris and Rowe have a good feel for the offense. Rowe started the season at quarterback, broke his wrist after starting the first 2 games, missed 4 games, has returned defensively. Last week for a half of the game, he saw action at the quarterback spot.
Harris may have fumbled that ball out of bounds on purpose to get the necessary yardage that he needed.
Falco under pressure. Len Watkins and Howard Goldborn sacking Falco, and a loss on the play back to inside the 40-yard line, loss of 5.
Watkins, 6 foot 240. He just overpowers the man blocking him, gets in his face, and then he gets a lot of help on the other side by Howard Goldborn, 6'3", 190. Unfortunately, a face mask
First down.
penalty was detected, and let's see how they rule this. Is it a first down or isn't it a first down?
Ed Strohmeyer is the referee.
That'll be a first down.
It is a first down.
Strohmeyer, the referee. Joe DeJory, the umpire. Bill Labrera is the head linesman. Tom Duffy, the back judge. The line judge is Jim McClutchy, and Sam Hagan is our clock operator. So a break for Morris Knolls as they go to Harris on the quick hitter, and he's gone. 45 yards, Harris untouched, and we are within a point of a tie.
Looks like a flag was thrown way behind the ball carrier. But, boy, you talk about a quick hitter. What an outstanding job by Falco. Came up to the line. He had to wait. Now, they knew they were going to pop that thing as quick as they could. He had to wait for the officials to line up because the first down was marked off. A lot of the Montclair players are indicating that it's against Morris Knolls. Big discussion in the middle of the field, big crowd.
We'll get
Bishop
the call.
comes out. Let's hear it.
We'll get the call from Ed Strohmeyer in a moment. An inadvertent flag. He's going to explain it to Jack Davies.
Okay.
So, an inadvertent flag keeps the touchdown on the board, and it is 7-6.
What a great play. They really hit that hole fast. They just pounded in there and carried out their fakes in the secondary. And the backs for Montclair were looking for the pitch out as Falco faked he had the ball, and by then it was Katie Barr that turned 6 points.
Disregard the flag, no foul.
Jeff Standfast on for the extra point. Harris puts the ball down, and Standfast puts it through, and we are tied at 7.
Great job by Morris Knolls. I'll tell you, they just were pounded by the Montclair offense in that drive. And you'd think that the momentum being on the side of Montclair might demoralize the Morris Knolls offense. But what a job they did. Coming back is a shot of Bill Regan Jr.
Son of the great former Del Barton coach, Bill Regan Sr., one of the all-time winningest coaches in New Jersey.
Take a look at this dive right there. Right there, he is wide open. The backs are looking for the pitch out. Good downfield blocking. And he just blows past everyone. Billy Harris. I said he didn't have outstanding speed, and I take that back because he blew past people that are supposed to be sprint champions in Essex County.
Stand fast to kick off. Sistrunk back deep along with Garrison and Darrell Williams. And the ball is handled by Greg Jarrett. Jarrett fights his way up to about the 28-yard line. He was wrapped up, Al, by Greg Parisi. Kept moving, but Parisi said, you can move laterally, you're not going to move forward.
A great job by Parisi, too, because it was only he and another defender that were over there because he had come across the entire width of the field. And had he gotten by Parisi, he may have gone all the way up the sideline.
Just 50 seconds after Montclair scored, Morris Knolls has scored to tie it. Montclair's second possession of the day. Flag thrown on the play as the counter play is stopped for no gain. Phil Lane came into the ball game replacing Sudavar at that flex end spot.
Should get an explanation from the officials here talking to the Morris Knolls captain.
They'll turn it down.
Illegal motion. Offense. Decline. Second down.
They don't want Montclair to have an extra play to run since they stopped that run for no gain. Second down and 10, 2:54 to play in the opening quarter.
The wet field, and it's not really wet, it's just very soft in the middle, is playing into the hands of Morris Knolls. It's cutting down the speed of the Montclair offense.
Ponton wants to throw, looking for Curry. through his hands. Standfast on the coverage. Good job done by Standfast, the junior.
Jeff Standfast, one of the only juniors in this defense at 6'1", 167. Outstanding coverage. He was right in his pocket of Jason Curry that time.
3rd and 10.
Might look for that out and up because the out pattern is being covered very tightly. If he fakes, goes up, he could be open.
Ponton looking for his man, Sudafar, and he's got him. 2 receivers in the area. Marriott and Sudafar were within about 5 yards of each other. It was just over Marriott's hands, and Sudafar was there.
Great job by Ponton. Look at the time. Look at the way he looks at his receivers. He waits. He sees Sudafar crossing. Now, this is a secondary pattern right underneath the deep coverage. Great job. Great job by Ponton. Great job by Sudafar getting himself open.
First down for the Mounties at the 43-yard line. Hagens up to the 47-yard line, gain of about 4. It'll be 2nd down and 6. Montclair, a great tradition, just 3 losing seasons since 1940, Al.
Unbelievable. Some outstanding coaches along that line. Right from Clary Anderson, Butch Fortunato, right on down. Outstanding coaching, outstanding season.
And those years, Al, were like 4 and 5 years. They weren't like 1 and 8s or 2 and 7s. They were that close to having a streak of 51 years without having a losing season.
Dead ball foul.
This game may be decided on a turnover at some time during the course of this ball game.
Well, that's what Bill Regan Jr. said. The game would be won for Morris Knolls, he said, if we can be about equal in time of possession and come out on the plus side on turnovers and win the kicking game. Ponton looking deep for Marriott. Incomplete. Double coverage by Standfast and Falco, but Marriott had a step on them both.
Boy, Marriott got himself way behind everyone. And Ponton looked, waited, and he really threw that bomb.
That's one of the big improvements for this Montclair team over last year's club, which finished at 7-3, losing in the semifinals of the playoffs to Morris Knolls. Right there, Lamont Ponton, an improved passer, 4 for 6 today for 47 yards. 3rd down, pressure by Shivas. He unloads for Curry. He's got it at the 15-yard line.
Woo, Curry. You know, we talked about the out and up. That's exactly what they ran. They ran the out. He pumps to him right here. And then he just cranks and fires. And Curry is behind everyone. You see the free safety coming flying over there. Scott Rowe, but he's too late. And Curry, that big 6'3", 210-pound junior, hauls the ball in. And Montclair is on another impressive drive.
Ball at the 15-yard line, 1st and 10, 1:19 to play in the opening quarter. Too high for Curry, and it's incomplete.
Ponton may have very intelligently thrown the ball away because Curry was covered by 2 defenders over there, and it looked like a 2-man pattern.
Jack Davies says that this is the best offensive club he has had in his 7 years at Montclair. They are very balanced. They can beat you with the run. They can beat you with the pass. He said defensively this team is very good, perhaps not as good as the 85 defensive team. He said that defense could score on you. This team has not shown that ability to do that defensively. Ponton fires for Curry. Touchdown. Outstanding grab by Curry.
What a catch. Curry was covered. He saw the ball being thrown low and to the inside, and he just took a dive and caught that ball like a pro receiver. Let's take a look. Ponton with the roll. Now, he has a lot of room to run out there, but he decides to wait. He sees the cut to the inside. What a dive and catch by an outstanding athlete. He looked like a pro on that one.
You hate to use that term pro when you're talking about a junior, but we can say this at least about Jason Curry. If he continues to progress, there are a lot of colleges that will be looking for his services next year. or in 2 years, I should say. He'll be back next year as a senior.
No question about it, Matt. He is an outstanding player. He has the academic ability to play in Division I. He is going to play for a big school.
A little bit of a sidewinder. Might have been partially touched by Shivas, but it gets through. One other point of interest we should mention about Jason Curry. His sister, Robin, works with us at TV3 and is working today's game along the sideline.
Look, let's take a look. Here it is. Now watch him dive and stretch out for this ball, bring it into his body. On the fingertips, into the shoulders and chest,
in a crowd,
into the stomach, right in front of the officials, and the official says, that's a catch, that's a TD.
For Curry, his 4th touchdown reception of the year, and it is 14-7 in favor of Montclair.
Curry going into the game with almost 400 yards in receiving. And,
well over that now.
That's
he's closing in on 500.
That's a tremendous statistic in any league.
Bill Regan looking at the scoreboard. He did not want to get into a shooting match. He said a low-scoring game is better for us. Something on the line of a 17-14 score. Short kick by Lister again. Rowe takes it at the 23. And Rowe brings it across the 35-yard line. And Morris Knolls will have good field position with 1:04 to play in the first quarter. Well, a difference in this score for Montclair than their first one, which took 13 plays and 64 yards. The yardage comparable, but they did it much quicker, scoring in 8 plays, going 73 yards. Curry's the 15-yard reception for the 6 points. Lister's extra point good. 14-7, the Mounties on top. Man open is Parisi. Eludes one tackler, and Parisi is off to the races. Touchdown, Morris Knolls.
Unbelievable. We might have 17-14 before the quarter's over. What a play. What a well-conceived offensive pattern. Now watch this. There's a fake, a spinning fake. He rolls. Now you can see the receivers rolling around over here. He catches the ball and turns upfield. Greg Parisi at 6'2", and he doesn't look that fast for that size. But boy, does he do a job legging it up into the corner, and he survives a last-second dive right here by Garland Thornton and gets into the end zone for 6 more points. And this extra point will make it 14-14, so don't go away, folks.
62-yard touchdown. The kick sails wide to the right. And Montclair will maintain the lead. 14-13, however. Well, Montclair has driven for scores, and Morris Knolls has counteracted quickly.
Let's take a look at Parisi. You see him right at the bottom of the screen. He just does a little circle over the middle. There's an out pattern by Harris that the backs go take a bite on, and you'll see the open area right here is where he scores a touchdown. That cut got him wide open, and there he goes. Right down the field, Garland Thornton chasing him down, a 2-year starter for this defense from Montclair, and he rumbles in. 6'1", 215, a big back, a big and good target, 6'2". And he just goes right down there and scores.
Stand fast to kick. Sistrunk and Garrison standing at the 10. From the 14, it is Sistrunk. And Sistrunk brings the ball out to the 39-yard line.
Great job by the Montclair kick return team. They opened a wedge in the middle, and well, they almost broke that open. But Morris Knolls' just conversion caused that pile up, and you see the clock winding down. 14-13, and the quarter isn't over.
Higgins picks up about 5. Wrestled to the ground by Mike Mascarina. And that'll probably be the last play of the first quarter, as we have 5 seconds to play. And we will not get a play off here. So the first quarter will come to an end. It's been a shootout, folks. We are not at the OK Corral, but at Woodman Field. 14-13 Montclair leads. We'll be back. Yards passing, although officially that touchdown pass was listed as 63 yards from Falco to Parisi, but one of his first passes, there was a loss on it. He was also sacked, so that discrepancy shows up there. It's not a discrepancy, that's just why the numbers are different, but a lot of yards. The defenses have been tested and they have been burned.
Really? First downs lead by Montclair, but they put drives on.
Garrison on the first play of the second quarter has a first down across midfield.
You know, Matt, going into this game, a lot of people thought that Montclair had a big play offense. They had all the guns. They could score on big plays, and that Morris Knolls would have to be a drive offense. They'd have to run it down and grind it out with their rear offense, and it's been the complete opposite in the first quarter.
Morris Knolls in 88 and 89 made it to the Group 4 final where they lost to Elizabeth. They're looking to make their third appearance in a row.
Another procedure penalty.
Another procedure inside the line of scrimmage. They look like the left side of the offensive line motion.
Yeah, okay. How about first you cross that tight end? Okay. Deep. Yeah, I right
Mark Elder comes in along with Jason Curry.
Illegal procedure. Interior lineman. Offense.
Phil Lane comes out and Kevin Garrett comes out.
Hard to say who moves. Let's take a look. Right below the center. Here we go. Right there, 74 on the motion.
So it's 1st and 15. Ponton, incomplete for Marriott. Pressure that time by Falco and by Kirchner.
Come on, Phil.
A lot of pressure by Kirchner right away. Eamon Kirchner, the 5'10", 175-pound junior, got right up in his face, caused Ponton to look and throw a little bit quicker than he wanted to.
He played well, did Kirchner, last week in the victory over Roxbury. Ponton 6 for 10 this afternoon. In motion through the hands of Sudavar. Coverage on the play by Rowe. And it's 3rd and 15.
What a great job by Ponton. Look at him coming around now. He's sprinting to his left in a right-handed throw, and he drills it right through the arms of Sudavar. And I'll tell you, that ball was drilled. There was no floating on that pass.
Passing situation. Clock stops. We are just underway in the second quarter. 11:22 to play. 14-13, Montclair on top. For Curry, that's a first down inside the 35-yard line.
What a job by Curry, Matt. That was a secondary pattern. He was running an out. As you see here, Ponton is looking. No one's open. Finally, he just cuts in from the sideline. He's coming back from the sideline. He had run an out pattern. He saw the pressure and started running back towards the middle of the field. It's a very intelligent move by Jason Curry.
Timeout called on the field. 5th catch of the day for Curry, approaching the 100-yard mark. The timeout called by Morris Knolls. So Jack Davies and his coaches will bring the offense over to the sideline.
That was a great job by Montclair. Just as Morris Knolls looked like they were going to stop them on a drive for once in this ball game, they go right to Curry and hit him with the pass. They had the incomplete pass before that, put him in a passing situation. They go right to Curry. Curry is covered on the out pattern. He just turns it back and runs towards the middle. Very intelligent, well-coached pattern. And Ponton just drilled it right in there.
We saw Bill Regan with the headphones on. He normally doesn't have them on, but during the timeout, he's got them on now, talking to the coaches upstairs, finding out what adjustments will be made. Big crowd on hand here at Woodman Field. The stands on both sides just about filled to capacity. There is some room at the extremities, but if you had the people standing up, you forced them to find a seat, it would be a full house. Ball just inside the 35-yard line. Power running back look again as Sudavar is lined up in the backfield. Garrison has a hole. Shifts a couple of gears and slips a couple of tacklers and gets down to the 21.
Garrison with the quick feet. The junior back. Let's watch him. He gets a big hole here. He just blasts through a huge hole. Now watch the quick feet right here. Boom, a cut. More quick feet chopping to this side. Veers around another player and gets himself a beautiful first down.
1st and 10. He'll get the call again. Breaking tackles, another cut, and he's brought down inside the 10-yard line as Steve Ranth held on for dear life.
Steve Ranth, a touchdown-saving tackle, just grabbed onto the ankle and held on. And Garrison just makes so many cuts. It's very, very hard to size him up and hit him.
He's got great speed. He's probably the fastest running back on this club. Elder lines up with Higgins in the backfield, along with Sudavar in the power look. Getting to the 5-yard line is Corey Higgins. Damon Kirchner makes the initial stop. Short gain on the play, 2nd and goal from the 5.
Good defense by Morris Knolls that time. They're in their 6-5 goal line look. They come very, very low and jam things up. And if you go wide, they try to overcome that with that outside speed that they have defensively. First, they have to jam up the middle. They do a good job at that.
Ponton, late pitch. Garrison bouncing off of tacklers is in.
Boy, he has some balance and some quick feet. Let's take a look at how he just... Watch him follow the blocks and keep his balance here. There's a great fake. Draws the defense. Now look at that cut. Right there. Keeps his feet moving. Look at the way that kid chops his feet, keeps his balance. And that's something you can't coach, Matt. If you've got balance, you're in heaven as a back. And it makes you a great coach when you have a kid that can carry the ball and keep his balance like that.
Lister line drives it through, and it is 21-13. 6th rushing touchdown of the year for that young man.
Lister's doing a great job kicking these extra points. He has defenders in his face just about. The last 2 extra points, Morris Knolls got somebody right up in there, and Lister kicked the ball underneath the blocking attempt.
Offensively, Al, Montclair has established the fact that they can run and throw against Morris Knolls. Defensively, though, they haven't proven that they can stop the Golden Eagles.
Well, the Golden Eagles have run some outstanding plays to score. They have just executed tremendous plays, deceptive plays. They've run that quarterback spinning, reverse spinning out of the quarterback position and opened things up and threw an excellent pass. Parisi took it in. The other time, Harris straight up the middle on a quick hitter. Beautiful offense.
For Montclair, that scoring drive. 62 yards, 9 plays. So they've driven, 64, 73, and 62 yards.
They're not finished yet by no means. It's just a matter of whether or not Morris Knolls can answer them. Morris Knolls can't stop them. Now they have to answer them.
Rowe. Tackled by Tim Lee. Good open field tackle made by Lee. Lee, a junior, 5'10", 165-pounder, backup defensive back.
He crashed right through several blocks, did Timmy Lee. There's the Morris Knolls sideline, averaging 28.3 points a game, allowing only almost 8 points a ball game, and that's a tremendous feat.
They've shut out 2 teams, Livingston and East Orange. Parisi in motion. Here's Harris. Harris. And he is tripped up for a loss by Sistrunk. Gary Sistrunk, another junior in that backfield, along with Matthews and Patterson. They're all juniors. Thornton's the only senior, and it was Sistrunk coming up with the play.
Falco pitches the ball much too early right here. He's under a lot of pressure, has people at his feet and ankles, and he just doesn't get outside and pressure the corner and throws the ball too early, and Harris is out there by himself with two Montclair defenders bearing down on him, and that offense will not run if the quarterback doesn't bring defenders to him before he pitches the football.
Mark Elder is being attended to on the Montclair bench. It looks like he has hurt his hand. Parisi's got it at midfield, and he is dragged down inside the 45 at the 42. Sistrunk makes the play, but Parisi comes up big.
Greg Parisi, 6'2", 175, and watch him haul this pass in. Over the shoulder, a bomb thrown by Falco, and he just brings it in, cradles it, heads up the sideline, and boy, he just sits here after this and says, wow.
First and 10. Falco looks like he's changing the play at the line. Harris is able to fall on it. Now they're continuing to look at Mark Elder. I'm looking down at the bench, and it looks like Elder's really hurt. There's a little blood on the bench. They're working on his hand, and he's got a lot of teammates around him. Elder, of course, starts on the offensive line and starts defensively. Right now he's being worked on the sideline. See his finger. You can see some blood along the bench there. Looks like his finger got chewed up pretty good. Back to action, and Harris barely got the ball from Falco, and he was stopped by Lipscomb along with Darrell Elder, Mark's older brother.
The Montclair defense just firing across. Here's a shot of what they're doing over here on the sideline. Elder's finger. But Morris Knolls, we talked about that low pad level. They try to scramble block. They come in real low at the knees and ankles of the defenders. And Montclair is just diving over those blocks and getting a lot of penetration early in the play.
Falco for Chris Andrews, complete. And that last move was enough to give him a first down to the 30-yard line. Andrews comes in.
Let's take a look. Great job right here by Andrews. Falco drills the ball. Now here's where he doesn't make the mistake of cutting inside. He says, and he just leans back and gets that first down. He caught the ball right at the stick, and had he tried to move and run to the inside, he'd have been driven back and not get the first down, but he just leaned forward and got it. Look at that total yardage.
A defensive coordinator's nightmare. Harris gets the call, eludes one tackler, and then is brought down on the play by Higgins. Short pickup. Higgins did not start at the middle linebacker spot at the beginning of the year. Again, we mentioned it earlier, he missed most of the preseason due to injury, so the coaches weren't really sure what they were going to get from him. Well, as the year goes on and he becomes healthy, he did start the first game, but as he improves and gets into condition, he works his way into a starting role, and he has been a find for this club. 6:20 to play in the first half. Montclair leads by 8. Harris to the 25-yard line. We have not seen Marcus Pierce carry the ball once out.
Not yet.
And Pierce is the 6'1", 197 junior who has the power role in this offense. They don't have a fullback as such. They just call them running backs, and they'll switch them left and right. But he would be the fullback if you decided to list them size-wise. And look at his uniform. It's fairly clean when you compare it to Harris's. And we might see him get involved in the offense since he's been a decoy most of the day. Falco cuts it up himself, is close to the 20, and It looks like he'll be just short of a first down.
That's one of the things that Falco has to do, Matt. We talked about drawing the defense to him. Montclair is not respecting him by any of the defensive backs. They're expecting the defensive end to grab the quarterback, Falco. And that time, Falco very intelligently got past the end and decided to keep the ball himself and take it up inside. And that's one of the things that Montclair is going to have to make an adjustment to. Big down here. Let's see if they go to the power back. Marcus Pierce, number 32.
4th and short. Falco takes it himself, and it looks like he's got enough for the first down.
One of the things I want to bring the attention of the fans to right now, Matt, is the fact that it appears that Morris Knolls will call a play in the huddle. When they come up to the line of scrimmage, Falco reads the defense and calls out the direction they're going to run that play. That's one of the things you can do when you've got two outstanding backs in the backfield. Doesn't matter which one carries the ball. And let's see if they bark out signals at the line of scrimmage and set the direction of the play that they've just called.
1st and 10. Ball just inside the 20-yard line. Flag thrown before the snap. And we may very well have encroachment. We saw some movement on the defensive line, and that is the call.
Harris moved a little bit, but he's allowed to move in the backfield, and that's what made the Montclair defensive line a little jittery.
Dead ball, defense, encroachment. Still first down.
It's Strohmeyer giving us the call. So it's 1st and 5. Pierce carries the ball for the first time, and he is down near the 10-yard line. 5-yard pickup for the junior.
They ran that quick hitter to the left. That's the side that he plays on. And he made himself a nice piece of yardage. Put them in a 2nd and short situation.
Mark Elder has come back into the ball game, and he replaces Kevin Garrett, who substituted for Elder while he was having his finger taped up.
Okay, here's a change of the play by Falco. He's just changing the direction because of the defense.
Pitches the ball to Pierce. Pierce breaking tackles, and he is run out at the 1-yard line.
Let's take a look at Pierce on this replay. Now here's the option to the other side. Falco takes it to the last second. There's a block. And then watch him just run right past this defender, keep his feet moving. And boy, he came close to that goal line. Just stepped outside
get
the
his
goal.
hand on the orange marker. Now you gotta get the ball across. Ball at the 1. 1st and goal. Harris and Pierce behind Falco. And it will be Falco taking it in for the score.
Boy, I don't know why Coach Regan didn't want to get into a shootout, because he's been shooting as well as Montclair's been all afternoon. They just mark back and forth. Watch Falco, very intelligent. What's a great fake here to Pierce. Look at the fake and how it drew in everyone. And Falco just dances across the goal line. Boy, what a great example of the way the defensive end took a bite on that fake to Pierce.
It looks like they're going to go for 2. It would tie the game up. The Golden Eagles trail 21-19. All marked at the 3-yard line. On a similar play to the touchdown, Falco runs it in, and we are tied.
Boy, it looked like a replay, Matt. The same thing happened. He faked to Pierce. The defensive end goes for the fake, and Falco waltzes into the end zone. Look at that fake and the draw, and he just cuts inside the over pursuit by the secondary, and Falco waltzes in, and we're right back where we started.
3:49 to play in the half. We'll take a break. We'll be back.
High school athletes, are you serious about competing in college?
And he's tripped up as he gets near the 30-yard line.
There's Garrison, and he had himself a nice little drive on the last touchdown that Montclair scored. There have been so many touchdowns, it's hard to keep track of which one was the last one they scored.
Each team has scored 3 touchdowns. And we are tied at 21 with 3:39 and counting to play in the first half. Higgins crosses the 35.
Let's go, Corey!
Good job by Higgins keeping his balance. He went into the off-tackle hole. There was a jam up there. He just slid to the outside. Just followed the flow of the open area and got himself a nice piece of yardage. Put him in a 2nd and 5 situation.
Jack Davies looking on. Montclair's defense has been tested. They had shut out their previous 4 opponents, giving up just 5 points a game, and here is Marriott into the secondary, into the 43-yard line. The defensive coaches must be pulling their hair out.
Well, I'll tell you, and Montclair has used a lot of weapons. Jason Curry is a defensive coordinator.
Look at this thing.
Floater, is he inbound? Yes, he is. Completed pass to Garrison.
Let's take a look. Garrison is just in bounds. Just gets his feet down in bounds. There he is. He leaps, brings the feet right down, and 1 foot right in bounds. That's all he had to do. He put them both in.
Yes, he did. Good call by the official.
You don't have Elder in there.
Well, he put the heels on the chalk.
Right, what screen, Frank?
2nd and short. The power eye look. Garrison stepping through tackles has a first down inside the 30 to the 28-yard line.
Terrence Garrison, 5'9", 160, and he can play. He can play. He got into the hole that time, and once he saw he had the first down, then he started chopping his feet and looking for that cut. Almost broke it.
2:23 and counting to play in the first half. Higgins with a big hole, and he's down near the 20-yard line. 8-yard pickup for Higgins.
Starting to look like the Morris Knolls defense is really getting tired and overpowered in there. A lot of kids going both ways on this Morris Knolls club, and they're under a lot of pressure. Every time Montclair comes up to the line of scrimmage, it puts them under intense pressure.
Garrison has it. No. Incompleted pass at the 15. Coaching staff upset.
There's Coach Davies getting a little fired up over this one.
He is not a happy camper as a timeout is called by Montclair.
Coach Davies wants a review. See our instant replay man up here. He's not going to give us an opinion. It's high school football. He's gotten so used to seeing the replay of these things and having him count.
And aren't we happy that there is no replay rule in high school?
We certainly are, that's for sure.
The NFL should adopt such a rule. We do not have a replay of it because the official was in position to make the call, and he happened to step in front of the camera as he was making the call, so there's no way of verifying it. And actually, that's not such a bad idea that we're not able to do so anyway. The officials don't make a heck of a lot of money to do what they are doing today, and they do a good job.
Coach Davies is fired up.
Well, let's see if his team can take some of that energy and do something with it on 3rd and short. Garrison breaks a tackle, has a first down. Mascarina had him, Al, but he stepped out of that tackle and picked up the first down.
Now look at the effort of this young man right here. Jumps over a tackler, just moves his hips and legs out of the grasp of another one and carries 3 guys on his back. And let's see if they measure here for the first down.
Some boos coming up from the home fans. I don't think they were too happy with the spot. So we will have a measurement. The chains will come in across the field.
Let's see what this measurement is. Very, very important. Montclair has just driven the ball.
Well, they'll have another try at it if they are stopped short.
All set, we're going to pull tight. We're going to be short, all right. Come on. We're short about a foot.
Short by a foot.
And the boos.
Coach Davies from the
stands.
St. Benedict's School of Coaching, the Joe Kasberger influence.
Played at Benedict's for 1 year as a postgraduate. Graduated from nearby Verona High School.
Played on the team with Gene Schiller, the noted coach at Franklin Township and at Scotch Plains.
Now the AD at Scotch Plains. Scotch Plains in the playoffs today. I don't think there'll be much question about that. Higgins gets the first down.
Great job of penetration by the defense for Morris Knolls. Let's take a look here. Higgins jumps over a penetrator right here. Tremendous penetration. He jumps, but watch the way he sticks his foot down before he hits. And that's what got the first down.
From the 18-yard line, Hagan, he is met at the line of scrimmage, and I believe that was Mike Mascarina. It was. Mascarina, the inside linebacker, 5'8", 170-pounder, comes up and makes the stick. Among Mascarina's off-the-field accomplishments, he takes advanced placement courses, has applied to Pennsylvania for early decision, and Al, he also teaches karate.
Yeah, that's not a bad skill to have. But a very, very intelligent young man, high on the academic list, applied to the Ivy Leagues, and he'd be an excellent Ivy League football player.
This week on Ion Sports, part 2 of Jerry Eisenberg's visit. It comes your way Thursday at 6:30 and Saturday evening at 7 o'clock on TV3. New time that Saturday showing, by the way. Beginning in December, our Saturday repeats will be 7 o'clock rather than 6:30.
See, there's a lot of coaches on the field asking questions about how many people are in the huddle over there. Now, there is a rule about how many coaches can go into a huddle during a timeout. It looked like Montclair had 4 coaches in there.
Second down and 10. 1:14 to play in the first half. Ponton looking for his footing. Looks for Curry, incomplete. Also in the neighborhood was Sudavar. And it'll be third down and 10. Now this is a momentum drive. Halftime is nearing. If Montclair can score, boom, they've got the lead going into the locker room. If Morris Knolls can hold, they say, hey, we played them even through a half.
Very critical, Matt. Exactly. I was thinking the exact same thing before that ball was snapped. And I'll tell you, Ponton had an opportunity to run the ball there. Morris Knolls is dropping off when they read pass, and there's a lot of open area for the quarterback to run.
Ponton under pressure. Curry is open. Touchdown!
Curry just out-jumped the defenders. There were 2 defenders there, Matt. And Curry just out-jumped them. He just wanted the ball more than they did. He's covered. Ponton sees the coverage. He moves. And he just out-jumps the 2 defenders and wants that ball aggressively. There he goes, all the way up at the top of his leap, brings it down, brings it to his body, and sticks his hand up for a touchdown call with his number 1 in the air. And I'll tell you, you talk about momentum, very, very necessary, Matt, and they got it.
When Ponton threw the ball, Curry was more open than he was as Lister blasts it through. But because the ball was thrown so high, it gave the defenders a chance to get underneath it, but Curry outleaped them and pulls in his second touchdown pass of the afternoon.
Boy, if there was any doubt about that young man's ability to play football, Jason Curry, Boy, he has really shown us his ability to play football and catch the ball. And I'm not just talking about ability in terms of jumping and good hands, but he has great sense of patterns. Like right here, you can see him at the top of the screen doing an in cut. Now there's pressure. Ponton rolls out. He throws a high pass, and a lot of defenders get underneath it. He just outjumps them all and indicates that he's number one and Montclair's number one. Make that a good reception for the touchdown. There's 1 minute left in the half.
And that's a lot of time for Morris Knolls because we've seen them strike quickly. So they will get the ball back with some time to operate, trailing by 7, 28-21. Rowe at the 9. Rowe brings it out near midfield. The last thing Jack Davies wanted to see was a 41-yard return.
Look at the job Rowe does here. He has the ball, and he just cuts inside of the pile-up. Now he switches it very intelligently because he's going to have all defenders on the other side. And right here, he just runs out of the grasp of the defender and gets cut off at the pass. Otherwise, he'd have had a touchdown. There's an injury to a Montclair player on the field.
Gary Sistrunk is the injured player as we look at Scott Rowe on the sideline. Taking a well-deserved break. Sistrunk moving his left leg, and he seems to be okay. And he says, let me go right into the defensive huddle. Now, he may have to come out of the game for a play. I think that's what Ed Strohmeyer's going to check on. If you're attended to on the field, you've got to come off for one play, and now Sistrunk will come off, and Tim Lee will step on.
Well, let's talk about Montclair's problem here. They've got to stop Parisi, and Morris Knolls has not thrown to too many other people. They've thrown to Harris, but they have hit Parisi when they've needed. And they've got other members of that club that can catch the football. Let's see how they go. They're not a passing team, but they're going to have to pass now.
Falco, screen. Harris has some blockers. Good move, dancing along the sideline, and he gets out of bounds. Smartly stops the clock. 40 seconds to play in the half, and he gets down to the 32-yard line.
You called it right, Matt. He very intelligently cut to the inside, and then when he saw that he didn't have any more yardage available to him, he went to the outside and stopped the clock. The clock stopped at 40 seconds. Nobody out there. Morris Knolls is driving again.
The only time either team has been stopped was on the first possession of the game when Morris Knolls went 3 plays and out. Falco snowed under. Earl Lumpkin, the 6'3", 210-pound fiery leader on that line, comes through.
Lumpkin kind of laid back a little bit and allowed the offensive backs to block the rush, and then when he saw that the block was on, as we get a timeout by Morris Knolls, when he saw the blocking, he saw that there was no one back there to block him, and he came a split second later, and he came through clean and made the sack.
You have to be off the field.
Morris Knolls with the timeout, 29 seconds remaining. And what a ball game we have seen.
One of the things we've seen enforced now, it was Coach Regan's point that Montclair had 4 coaches in the huddle. You only allowed 1. And right now, on this timeout, the officials enforce the 1 coach in the huddle rule. And the Montclair huddle only has 1 coach, the defensive coordinator, in the middle of it. On the other side, there's Bill Regan talking to his troops. And this is critical. We talked about the critical nature of that drive that Montclair had going with 2 minutes left in the half. And now we're talking about 29 seconds left in the half. And this is a very more critical drive because of the fact that Morris Knolls is down by a touchdown.
A total of 470 yards of offense by these two teams in the first half. And we still have 29 seconds to play. thrown short by Falco. Standfast, the intended receiver. The wide receivers bringing the plays in, Leslie, Standfast, and Andrews.
Come on, defense.
Now we see this time a little bit of a switch as Parisi brings the play in. And Pat McNichol goes out. Andrews and Standfast are in the game as Twins go to the top of the screen. Behind, Standfast and incomplete. 20 seconds remaining, and it's 4th down and about 18.
Hey, 1, 2. Same thing, but put the outside.
They're going to go for it right now. They have to, Matt. I don't think there's enough time to worry about punting the ball away. 20 seconds showing on the board. Parisi ran over to the sideline, coached to Bill Reagan, and they decided what they want to go with.
He's on the tight end. Jimmy!
Matthews with the interception. And Matthews brings it back to the 45-yard line. And now that Montclair lineup, that team is fired up.
Fired up is not the word, Matt. There's still 8 seconds left in the half, and let's see if they're going to crank one up.
Now, Matthews won't be chastised for this because he wound up gaining his club about 4 yards, but if he just knocks it down, the ball's at the 40. Instead, he intercepted it and ran it back to the 45. Garrison has one man to beat, and he is tripped up by Scott Rowe. Timeout call, but not before the first half.
And that was 500 yards. I think we saw 500 yards in the first half of the ball game.
Well, it has been an entertaining first half. We hope you have enjoyed it. Montclair leads 28-21. We'll be back after this.
Continue it, and Morris Knolls came out. It's our game. We're going to kick it back right now. Tremendous. Remember, we have not had turnovers. The turnovers of insignificance was at the end of the half in a Hail Mary pass, an interception. But other than that, both clubs have not made mistakes on offense.
No, it's been a mistake-free game. Early on, Montclair was penalized, a couple of cheap penalties, if you will, motions and procedures, things that you can control with discipline. They had one face mask penalty also, but they have cut down their mistakes that way, and it's been pretty much a penalty-free game from about the, I'd say about the 4-minute mark, 3-minute mark of the first quarter. Football, a game of adjustment. You've got that long halftime to talk to the team and try to correct some mistakes or change your scheme around so that you can prevent the other team from attacking you successfully, and we'll see what adjustments are made by both teams. Here's Sistrunk picking up the kick at the 15. And he battles his way across the 30-yard line, and Montclair will have the ball leading by 7, and they have been successful in their attack. 13-play drive for a touchdown, 8-play drive for a touchdown, 9-play drive for a touchdown, and an 11-play drive for a touchdown. That last play running out the half. So they have been very successful, almost 8 yards per play they are averaging. Terrence Garrison
with the run from Montclair.
There's the first adjustment we've seen offensively. Montclair adjusted with the counter, gave the ball to Garrison going away from the flow of the original direction of the play and got themselves a big piece of yardage. So they came out and they put that play into the repertoire. We did not see that the first half. There's the breakdown play selection.
43 plays by Montclair already. Higgins Grabbed by Standfast and muscles forward for another couple of yards. 3-yard pickup, 2nd down and 7. We are just underway in the third quarter. Matt Lachlan along with the doctor, Al Reynoso. Big crowd on hand at Woodman Field. Fans ringed around the fence that surrounds Woodman Field, the home of so many great Montclair matchups. Ponton gets some blocking and throws it behind Marriott, who is drilled by Kirchner. 3rd down.
Kirchner, a great job defensively being out there. And then you see Ponton comes outside. Now, he has a lot of room to run. I've said that in the first half. That time he could have ran for a first down. But there you see the coverage and the hit.
Garrison. Great change of direction for a first down.
The crowd up here in the telecast booth has gotten bigger, multiplied by a few as the sun has gone down and it's gotten colder. And they were all yelling and screaming on that last run by Garrison. You notice he has a tremendous ability as we see a penalty being marked off. And Garrison has a tremendous ability of keeping his balance and getting that extra yardage. Talked about penalty-free, no mistake offense. Here's one that hurts.
Offense, number 88.
So a clip called, and that negates the first down run.
3rd and long.
3rd down passing situation. I formation. Draw play. And that did not fool McNichol. McNichol, the linebacker, the senior, 5'11", 181 pounds, not fooled.
Boy, he just stays home. Look at it right here. He comes out of the right side of the screen, stays home, and just hangs on to Garrison. You've got to hang on to him.
Punting situation. Ponton's first punt, they almost get it. In fact, they did get a piece of it.
As they did, the official indicated touch of the ball. The defenders rushed. Now, they have been rushing on the extra points. That's the first punt we've had by Montclair in this ball game, and they got a piece of that on the rush. They had 3 men penetrating. So now, we saw the adjustment that Montclair tried. The penalty hurt them. They had to turn the ball over. Let's see how Morris Knolls responds with their adjustment offensively.
Morris Knolls, they've had little difficulty. They go to Pierce. Pierce, who was primarily a decoy in the first half, picks up 2. 2nd down and 8, ball at the 40-yard line.
Remember that Falco has the ability, the intelligence, to change the direction of the play at the line of scrimmage. If he sees the defense is not where they want it to be to run a play, he'll change the direction. He's looking it over now, and he's going to run the play.
Completed pass to Parisi, who breaks away from a solid hit by Sistrunk and brings the ball to the 46-yard line. First down for the Golden Eagles.
That's the play that they scored a touchdown on. You see Falco reverse spinning. He throws the ball to Parisi on a circle pattern over the middle.
Where did they start?
After Harris has run a sideline pattern.
Come on, Dave!
Parisi's 3rd catch of the afternoon.
In the neutral zone.
Falco showing the ball to the defender.
Right, 22 pushback,
And he's able to pick up about 4.
Let's take a look at how Falco runs his option. There's the fake, the bite into the line. Now Falco runs it out. He shows the ball to the defender. Tries to get him to go outside. And turns it up for a few yards.
wants to throw, and a little confusion because he was throwing the sideline route, and Andrews had stopped on a little bit of a hook.
Andrews read the defender as covering him deep, so he broke it off and hooked up. And Falco read the defender as being able to be beat deep. So the ball.
What the heck is going on?
Again, they are reading the defense, and professional football is so complicated. The quarterback and the receivers actually read the defense and decide what kind of a pattern they're going to run.
Falco has been successful in the air today. He goes back to the air. He had his man stand fast. He could not hold on. He had the first down if he maintained possession.
Right, Matt. He had it. Stand fast, had the necessary yardage. You see Falco come out. They're reading the defense. They're throwing. Stand fast has the ball right in the hands, and lack of concentration, inability to hook it up. And Morris Knolls goes into a fourth down punting situation.
Jay Hines on for his second punt. Almost blocked. And the ball sails out of bounds. A short punt at the 30-yard line. Garland Thornton almost got the ball.
Look how close he gets here. Right now he comes inside of the block. That's a mistake by the blocker. The blocker should release that man on the outside. It looks like he got a piece of that ball.
He might have, Al. He might have gotten a piece of it. Ball is at the 30-yard line. 8:34 to play in the third quarter. And compared to the first two quarters, this has been a quiet third quarter. 28-21, Montclair leading by 7. Up the middle they go to Higgins. Higgins wrestled down at the Morris Knolls 40. 30-yard pickup for Higgins.
Higgins breaks it up inside, Matt. It's not really a quick hitter as much as it's a trap in there. A little quick trap, and he finds open sailing here.
Come on, George!
He is off to the races and gets dragged down from behind.
This time he's met in the backfield by Falco, Phil Falco, one of the returning starters on defense. Falco, McNichol, and Rowe, the returning defensive starters.
There's a good hit. That's that low pad level of football that they expound in Morris County. And Coach Bill Regan told us that one of the things that they teach religiously, it's like a religious low pad level.
Garrison, that's defended well, and Falco makes the stop. No gain on the play. It'll be third down and long. Well, that low pad level that he talks about is the philosophy that the late John Bauer Sr. used at Randolph High School, and Bill Regan says that there's no question that John Sr. was an influence on him, as was his father, Bill Regan Sr., and Frank Burns, his college coach at Rutgers. But he said that we've copied the low pad level blocks of Randolph. Ponton cannot throw now as he has stepped across the line. Short of the first down, but a good job of scrambling by Ponton. And he makes this fourth down play upcoming a little easier.
You know, we talked about him having a lot of room to the outside, and that time somehow Morris Knolls cut off the outside. But this kid, with tremendous ability, gets himself some good yards and puts them in a fourth down situation. It's decision time, and there's a timeout call here.
An official's timeout was taken as one of the Morris Knolls defenders was adjusting his helmet. That would be Ken Walter. Walter in at the defensive tackle spot. 6'3", 210-pound senior. Fourth down play. Ponton is stopped. Stacked at the line, and as he tried to go outside, Kirchner came up to make the play.
Well, Matt, we talked about all offense. Let's take a look. Ponton fakes. He tries to keep, and he gets caught right here, right at the ankle, right at the knee. A tackle that stops his progress. You saw him sliding. The footing is not good. In the middle of that field because of the rain we had last night.
Heavy downpour.
Talk about defense not even being there in the first half, and now both clubs have gotten tough defensively.
Valpo under pressure has Parisi, and he is close to a first down as he gets across the 40-yard line.
Parisi does a great job getting himself open. There's a lot of pressure on Falco. Parisi turns around, catches the ball. He really likes to cradle it into his body. He turned it up. They're going to measure to see if he got a first down.
He is close. Darrell Elder, one of the captains from Montclair, giving it a good look. And hustling over there is Pat McNichol, one of the captains for Morris Knolls.
Morris Knolls didn't know that they were measuring, and John Leslie ran all the way out here to the bottom of the screen, lined up and said, "What's going on?" And run right back to the huddle.
Runs back, says, "Somebody give me the oxygen tank because I've got to run right back out there again."
He's run 50 yards before this play's even snapped.
He comes out toward the Montclair sideline. Second and very short. Under 6 minutes to play in the third quarter. Pierce has the first down. Ran into Higgins, but not before he was able to pick up the necessary yardage for the first down, and the Morris Knolls drive will continue.
Well, that was a great opportunity on a waste down. They could have wasted a pass there because Montclair really came up on the line of scrimmage for that play. Had they faked to Pierce and swung somebody up the sideline, Parisi probably. We haven't heard from McNichol too much. McNichol's been playing a good game on defense. But number 81, the other end, has not caught the pass.
Parisi makes the catch as the ball was thrown just over the outstretched arms of Darrell Elder. Afkin Matthews on the cover.
You know, Matt, I went in at halftime and looked at Darrell Elder to see how he was. And I got up close to him. He's 6'3", 200 pounds, and I'll tell you, he is a big kid. If they go to that pass once too often, he'll pick it off. He is a very tall player.
An outstanding linebacker. Pierce has the first down as he gets to the 45-yard line. Now, we talked about it earlier. Montclair lines up in a four-man front, but they bring their outside linebackers so tight, it looks like a six-man front, really. Watch how tight Goldborn and Elder will get on this play as they'll break to the line.
Notice also that Morris Knolls linemen, even their tight end, get down in a four-point stance to emphasize that low pad level of football.
Well, now Goldborn steps up a little bit. Elder gets down into a five-man stand.
Foul time. That's 5 times.
And let's see, we have a penalty called on the play. Offside on Morris Knolls. The coaching staff, you heard from Montclair, saying 5 times he's done that.
Talking about the offensive line lining up.
Number 88, offense in the neutral zone.
They've been talking about Parisi being in the neutral zone on the alignment, the way he lines up, the way he gets into the stance. He gets his hand up past the football.
First penalty called against Morris Knolls. Knocked down by Earl Lumpkin. Little swing pass attempted to Bill Harris. And Lumpkin puts his big paw up and just smacks it out of the air.
Big Earl right here. There you see him fighting off a block. Now right here he's going to stick up that big paw and just bat it down. But I'll tell you, had he not batted it down, the secondary from Montclair was reading Harris out here. They may have picked the pass off, so that may have helped Morris Knoll rather than hurting them because the defense was ready to intercept that pass.
2nd and 15. Harris fumbles the ball, and it goes over to Montclair. Now, that was a similar play they broke the touchdown on to Harris earlier. This time he was hit after a gain of about 5 and the ball squirted free.
The ball comes out very late. Let's take a look. There's the handoff. He's driving up. He's held the ball well, but he stretches out when he's hit, and it comes out. It's a good call, and Montclair gets the ball on the turnover. So Morris Knolls has stopped Montclair on a drive. They drove back and turned the ball over. Montclair has the opportunity again.
Ball at the 44, 1st and 10 for the Mounties. Hagen gets to the 45, and maybe just a little bit beyond. Remember, one of the keys to this game, according to Bill Regan, was the turnover factor. He said, we have only lost that turnover game once, and that happened to be in their loss to Randolph, 10-7, their only loss of the year. He said we had to stay on the plus side of turnovers. Time of possession had to be about equal, and he said we had to win the kicking game. Lane in the ball game moves in motion. They run opposite of that movement. Garrison has a first down inside the 40-yard line.
The second time they run that play, Matt, that's the adjustment they've made at halftime. They go motion away, and they come back in the direction away from the motion with Garrison carrying the ball, and he can lug the leather. Watch him turn it up here. Going outside, a tremendous job defensively by Standfast to stop him from going all the way up the sideline. So Montclair comes back with a big play.
Garrison with 120 yards, averaging 8 yards per carry. And they'll give it to him again. And he'll add to his total as he picks up about another 14 yards. Now, we have called Standfast's name an awful lot. We give the young man credit for playing a heck of a game. The bad news is, though, he's a defender. He's a cornerback making a lot of tackles.
There he is again, making the tackle on Garrison. And when you have your defensive backs making the tackles, I'm not talking about linebackers. I'm talking about the perimeter backs, corners, halfbacks, safeties. When they're making tackles, there's trouble.
Let's go!
2:35 to play in the third quarter. Higgins with a short pickup. Falco making the stop. Bill Regan says that Phil Falco is a very active player, plays physically, and he said he loves the game.
He sure does, and he holds down two very important spots in this club. He's there. We've called his name a lot.
There's Bill Regan on the far sideline, coaching, talking to his offensive lineman, it looked like. Ponton inside the 20-yard line. And he is close, depending on where they mark it. Oh, they'll mark him up around the 20-yard line. So it'll be third down, and it'll be about 4.
Terrible spot.
There you have a graphic of the total yardage in this ball game. 402 yards for Montclair, and we're not even out of the third quarter. We have a timeout.
Officials' timeout is taken. And it looks like Standfast, he's got to make some adjustment to his helmet. Snapped up, it's pretty solid. Put the mouthpiece in, we're ready to go.
Get low, G! Get low, Lenny!
Garrison, short by about a yard. A little bit of a trouble with that play out as Ponton ran into Hagen and Garrison shaken up.
Garrison got twisted that time. His legs were being held and his upper body twisted away. Let's see where the injury is. They also look like they had him by the face mask. Right here is where he dives up. Somebody has his ankle. His left foot is being held. Now he's driving. His feet are moving, and some of the other defenders go. He tries to spin here. Look at his right knee get bent. Oh, man, they went right down on that knee. I'll tell you, that's one of the things that is very, very serious in terms of how it can hurt an athlete, that knee goes.
But he's up and walking off under his own power. It was Elder, the fullback, leading the way, and Ponton ran into Elder, trying to hand the ball off to Garrison.
Big play here, Matt.
4th down, and a little more than a yard.
This is exactly where Montclair was stopped the last time they went on his 58th offensive play in the game.
And it is Hagen who is in.
Hey!
1:29 remaining.
Watch Hagen now. It's a 4th down situation. And when you get past the line on a 4th down situation, there aren't too many men back there to stop you. And Hagen gets horse-collared at the 5 and dives into the end zone with a man on his back.
Lister on for the extra point. And it's good.
And Montclair drives again for another touchdown to go up 35-21.
For Hagen's his 2nd touchdown.
There it is. Look at the block here where 2 defenders go down. And Hagen sees the corner. Here's where he gets grabbed, and he just carries that man into the end zone.
I'll tell you, it looked like Jack Davies was trying to call a timeout before that extra point. He might have been thinking of 2 out because he would have had the luxury, if they failed, of still being up 34-21. If he scores the 2, he really puts a lot more pressure on Morris Knolls. As it is, they didn't see the call for a timeout, so it's 35-21.
Morris Knolls is being put to the test now, Matt. They're down by 2 touchdowns on the board. They've got to get back in this game. There's still 1:29 in the quarter, so it's not a matter of time yet. They've shown they can score. But I think they're getting worn down by the superior size and strength of this Montclair club. Very, very strong, very, very deep club. A lot of players, a lot of excellent position players. And they're under the gun now. They've got to come back. If they don't come back now, it's over.
Yeah. Rowe backpedals to the 16. And he is brought down by Rashawn Smith. Smith, a senior, 6 foot, 185-pounder.
Man, I'm flattened.
Montclair leading 35-21. Hagen's touchdown run, capping a 7-play, 56-yard drive. Howard Goldmore making the stop. The man that you hear in the background, the man who is so enthusiastic, as he should be, is the athletic director here at Montclair, Wendy McGriff. Wendy took over for Butch Fortunato, the great coach at Montclair and former great player here at Montclair.
That last play, Marcus Pierce got the pitch a little late and had to stop his momentum to make sure he had the ball. When he did that, he couldn't crank up again because the Montclair defense was on him. Montclair started to really swarm now defensively.
All right.
Quick hitter to Harris. The ball came free, but the officials will say he was down before the ball came loose. It'll be 3rd down in about 6.
Now's the time that when Morris Knolls is in a passing situation, at this point in the game, Montclair can start sniffing out the ball. If they throw that out pattern over to the side, oh, there's the end of the quarter. But if they throw that ball out there, it might get picked off.
Montclair leads by 14. We've got 12 minutes of regulation ahead of us. We'll be back. Al Reynoso, and get your calculators out because this has been an offensive game.
Look at the stats here. Unbelievable total yardage. 420 for Montclair, 254 for Morris Knolls, and the defense has gotten a lot tougher in this half. If they not, it would have been unbelievable.
That's right.
You know, a friend of mine, we'll just call him Mr. H, decided to go over and see Randolph and Union because he thought this game was going to be a blowout. But I'll tell you what, an exciting ball game. Both clubs, a lot to be proud of.
Third down play. Harris stopped for a 1-yard gain. Darrell Lipscomb coming up from the bottom of the pile, and it's fourth down and a long 4, a short 5, and no matter how it's measured, it's a critical fourth down play.
Remember the last time that Morris Knolls punted, a lot of pressure came in from one side there by Montclair.
Well, Phil Regan is going to forego the punt, and he's going to try and pick it up here.
Better not throw the ball over there where Elder is.
The intended receiver. It was ahead of him, and it falls incomplete. And the ball goes over to Montclair, and now, Al, they've got the hammer and the nail ready, and they're trying to nail the coffin shut.
No question about it, Matt. We said that had Morris Knolls not scored, I'm not so sure I would have gone with that pass. I would have punted the ball, been a little more conservative. There's plenty of time. 11 minutes and 30 seconds were on the clock, and they decided to throw that pass and put Montclair in this situation to, as you said, Matt, nail the coffin shut.
Well, the defense comes up with a big play here as Hagans is hit and dropped in the backfield by Bill Shivis, the senior end.
Take a look at that handoff and the penetration by the defense. Shivas goes barreling in there defensively for Morris Knolls. Shivas is a big kid at 6'1", 195.
Garrison to the 30-yard line, 5-yard pickup. It'll be third down and about 8, 10.5 minutes to play in this ball game. Montclair leading by 14. The winner goes on to face the Randolph Union winner for the North 2 Group 4 final. There will be a new champion in this section, as Elizabeth, the 2-time defending champion, did not qualify for the playoffs.
Great ball!
Garrison! Garrison is in a 30-yard touchdown run.
Montclair lines up in a passing set as if they were going to throw the ball for the necessary 8 yards. Instead, they pinch it to Garrison and bring everybody around the corner. Watch the blocking here. A lot of people coming around, and watch the cuts by Garrison. Swivel hips, keeps his feet. Now, that's hard to do in that wet turf. But he just keeps his balance and flies down the sideline. That's the one that killed him.
Lister, he has had pressure all day out, and he has put up some wobblers. That one, the ugliest looking extra point you could see, but you want to know something? It went through.
It went through. Nobody's going to say anything about it. Here's Garrison's stats. He's averaging 9.1 yards a carry. Let's take a look at it again. Now watch how he keeps his feet, and look at the way his feet are sliding in the turf. The mud's kicking up. Now right here is where he just chops his feet, waits for the block to be thrown, does a great job going down the field. Corey Hagans with the block, and he just waltzes in.
And I guess he didn't twist his ankle or leg that badly toward the end of the third quarter. Remember, he came limping off after what a play that looked like it could have caused considerable damage. And,
our camera replay showed that leg being twisted severely. That leg will hurt tomorrow. When he wakes up, that leg will hurt. But then when he goes to see the films, it'll feel a lot better.
Montclair's scoring drive, a short drive, took them just 3 plays, capped by Garrison's 30-yard run, and Montclair now has doubled the Morris Knolls output. Rowe, who has done a good job returning kicks all afternoon, returns this across the 30-yard line. Tackled by Roger Marsh, another senior. Now, last couple of kickoffs, we've talked about seniors making plays, and you got to give those guys credit because they're not listed on their depth chart, and they're not going to see a lot of action offensively, or defensively. But here they are in their senior year, making the plays on the special teams, and now they're headed for a state championship game and a chance to have a perfect 11-0 record.
And they'll get that jacket. When they hand out that state championship jacket, they'll get one just like anybody else. And when they get older, they'll be able to tell their kids that they were stars on that team and nobody will know the difference.
Or perhaps what they'll do is they'll come to a game such as this where perhaps their children or nephews will be playing. I saw a gentleman in the crowd earlier, Al. He had a 1961 Montclair State Championship jacket on. Looked like he could still put the pads on. He played quarterback. That was the indication on his jacket. And, boy, he wore that as proudly today as he did in 1961 when he got it.
And that's a commentary about this community. I mean, they stay here in Montclair. They like it. They stay here, bring up their families, and their families carry on the tradition. Meanwhile, Harris breaks open.
Harris saying that there's still 9 minutes to go. Miracles can happen if we just believe they can. And he has brought the ball into Montclair territory. Should this game wind up a Montclair victory, we will be back here next week as Montclair will host either Union or Randolph. Harris takes the pitch and after a gain of about 6 or 7 steps out of bounds. On Monday, the roundtable at 7:30 will be the place where you will find out what games we will televise. As I said, we will follow our highest ranked team to the end, and if this score holds up, Montclair is our number 1 ranked club, so we will be here next week for the North 2 Group 4 final, and then our other matchup in our doubleheader yet to be determined. We have a number of teams playing in the playoffs this year. Harris stopped for a loss on the play. Len Watkins, who's also an outstanding wrestler, Al. He's an all-conference wrestler in the NNJIL.
Well, he made the pop right after Harris received the ball. Watkins was there and just laid the leather to him.
Harris is close to a first down. Maybe short by about a yard, perhaps a half yard.
Garland Thornton is the man who makes that play out there. He's the one that almost blocked the punt. You see a shot of him right there, looking at the defensive signals, getting him from the sideline, and that defense has tightened up. They allowed 3 touchdowns in the first half and have not allowed Morris Knolls even close to the goal line in the second half. There's some of this wild fan action over here on the sideline.
Fans are celebrating. Pierce has the first down. Thornton and Matthews combining for the stop, but not before the big junior picks up the first down and gets inside the 35-yard line.
Clock rolling as we see Bill Regan on the sideline. 7:30, 7:29, kicking off.
I asked Bill if it was inevitable that he would get into coaching, given the fact that his dad was so successful at Del Barton. Fumble on the play, and it's recovered by Mike Wilson. And he said, well, yeah, kind of, but he said that football is meant and given so much to him that he felt that was one way he could return something to the game, and that was by coaching. And he said, you know, the game can teach young men so much about life and about themselves. And he said he just wanted to get into coaching. But he said, yeah, you know, we had those days where the salt and pepper shakers became blockers and the forks and the knives were part of the alignment on the dinner table. He said it got to the point in our household where even our mom, he goes, my mom could read defenses.
She had pass coverages down just from watching the kitchen table.
Harris to the 30-yard line. 6.5 minutes to play in this ball game. Crowd beginning to exit on the Morris Knolls side. Some of the Montclair fans now slowly starting to make their way to the exits. There'll be a big crowd on hand next week, whether it's Randolph or Union. You know there'll be a big crowd here at Woodman Field.
I better get here even earlier than I got here today.
You couldn't get here much later. Falco to Harris, run out of bounds at the 25-yard line, and that'll bring up a 4th down and about 2. Harris now over 100 yards. That young man ending his high school playing days today. Generally, Morris Knolls has not produced a lot of the blue chippers, the big names, the stars. In recent years, the biggest name, Lou Benfatti. Benfatti now a redshirt freshman at Penn State, starting on the defensive line for the Nittany Lions. But generally, they have not produced the big stars. Bill Regan says we've just got medium-sized kids with big hearts.
And that's really a commentary on the defense that they have. Meanwhile, they were short on the 1st down and turned the ball over to Montclair. But to get back to that point, Matt, it's a senior-oriented program. The players play right up through the underclass teams. They have a sophomore program, a JV program, and they don't get to play that much unless they are seniors. And when they get there, as you see the statistics, 6-2 plays, 453 yards from Montclair. When they get to be seniors, they get an opportunity, and the program just procreates itself.
Garrison carries the ball, and you wonder at what point will Jack Davies begin to send in some of the reserves. We have 5 minutes. The crowd certainly enjoying this one.
There's a bulldog, the Mountie Bulldog.
The Georgetown mascot perhaps got a little lost on the way to the Hoyas opening game. Montclair will keep the ball on the ground. Garrison with the carry. As I was saying, you wonder at what point will Jack start to go to the reserves and keep his starters, away from potential injury or what have you. 3-touchdown lead and under 5 minutes to go. Jack's team will enter the championship game next week at 10-0, Al.
Terrence Garrison at 176 yards so far in the ball game. Corey Higgins at like 98 yards. A lot of yardage for 2 backs.
Ponton will take it himself. And Ponton out near the 1st down marker. The last unbeaten Montclair team was in 1966. They finished 8-0-1. The last undefeated Montclair team was in 1964. Larry Anderson was the coach in both of those years. They finished 9-0.
They've had other undefeated teams.
Oh, yeah. Since 1940, they have had 12 unbeaten seasons. Only 2 of those seasons have included ties. Flags all over the place. There's a little hop, skipping, and jump in the backfield. It's a great program. There have only been 6 coaches in Montclair history Clarence Woodman was the first coach. This field is named in his honor. Ken Sprague and Ernie McCoy followed. Then Clary Anderson took over, and Clary coached from the 30s till 1969 when he moved over to Montclair State. Butch Fortunato, a great player here at Montclair, coached with Clary after his playing days at Fordham were over. And in fact, when Clary was away during World War II, was the head coach for a few years. Then he took over in 69 and coached to 1983. So Jack Davies took over in 1984, just the sixth coach in Montclair history, and he has continued the tradition. This victory will be his 52nd against just 17 losses and 2 ties.
Unbelievable tradition, unbelievable program. I can remember Montclair way back in the Connie Egan days, the Haynes twins, Earl Spivey. They were unbelievable then. They had tremendous teams, tremendous programs, tremendous tradition, and that has all trickled right down to this day.
Al, you mentioned some of the names. During our South River game, South River and Carteret, Bill Horry and I were touching upon some of the great names that have come through that South River program. And a problem, if you will, is that there have been so many great names, truly great names in that program. Joe Theisen, Drew Pearson, Alex Wojciechowicz, Kenny Jackson, all who played professional ball, one of whom, Wojciechowicz, is in the Hall of Fame, that the very good players, or the real good players, get overlooked. And the same is true in this Montclair program. When you talk about Montclair, you talk about great players, and they are truly great. There are 2 players from Montclair in the pros right now, Quintus McDonald and Jeff Mills. They have had tremendous success. So a lot of the real good players just get overlooked simply because they can't match the great ones.
They can't stand in the shadow of players like, for example, Aubrey Lewis, who was just a pioneer in
as you mentioned, the Haynes twins. The names just go on and on and on here. And in many sports.
Loaded, Gary. Loaded.
Before the game, I was speaking with a councilman in town. Art Thompson is his name, and he played here back in the 60s. And was talking about some of the baseball exploits and how good teams that he pitched on. And he was an outstanding pitcher. Won 17 his junior year, 14 his senior year. And, you know, he mentions things like Earl Williams and Buddy Fortunato, and it just goes on and on and on in Montclair history. And this team will have a chance to take its place with some of the greats in Montclair history as we see Roger Marsh saying, hey, I can contribute on special teams.
No question they're one game closer to that jacket. And that jacket is going to be some jacket when they get finished designing that thing, because this club has accomplished a lot in their conference. And their,
conference champions, the Atlantic Division of the NNJIL. Looking for their first state championship since 1983 when they defeated Union in Butch Fortunato's last year. They went to the final in 84, losing to Union. They went to the final in 85. That was that great matchup of 2 undefeated teams. Tony Stewart led Union. Fred Matthews led Montclair. And a late Stewart touchdown run put Union over the top. And that was a phenomenal game over at Foley Field. Big crowd on hand. The field was in horrible shape because of a snowfall the prior evening. But Montclair is back in the final for the first time since then, and this might be Jack's best team ever. Again, offensively, there's no question it is. Defensively, he said it matches that 85 team, which had Mills and Erwin Sampson and Fred Matthews, and you could go on and on with those names. And he said that the only difference is that defense could score touchdowns on you, return an interception, a fumble. He said this defense hasn't done it yet, but they have, Al, shut out 5 teams this year. The 21 points given up today, the most that Montclair has given up all year.
Well, Montclair has dominated the second half, no doubt about it, but Morris Knolls gave them a battle in the first half, and that last half touchdown, the touchdown at the end of the half, I think was the turning point of this ball game. Had Morris Knolls stopped that, as you see Falco get sacked, had Morris Knolls stopped that touchdown, it may have been a whole different momentum, a whole different halftime talk, a whole different feeling. But that touchdown put them down by 1, and I think as I went into the locker room and saw both clubs, Montclair came out with the advantage, both psychologically and physically, and they just shut down Morris Knolls in the second half here. A valiant effort by a great club, Morris Knolls, but Montclair just had too much for them in the second half.
Morris Knolls will end its year at 8-2. Finishing second in the Iron Division of the Iron Hills Conference. Finishing behind Randolph. Timeout. An official's timeout taken. 43 seconds left. Lamont Ponton and Terrence Garrison. That's Anthony Clemens saying we want Union. Anthony, you may very well get Union.
Or you may get Randolph. Neither one is
going to be a walk through the park. If Union comes in, they will have ended Randolph's 47-game winning streak. As the tips pass is intercepted by Afghan Matthews, and he is brought down inside the 40-yard line. And he fumbles the ball at the end, and it goes over to Randolph, to Morris Knolls. I'm thinking Randolph because if Randolph wins today, Al, they will enter next week's game with a 48-game winning streak. That would match Westfield's unbeaten streak. Randolph already has the state record for consecutive wins. Westfield went unbeaten in 48 games. The team that ended that, right here at Woodman Field, the Montclair Mountains. Less than 10 seconds to play. Last play. And that'll do it. Montclair in a shootout, but showing second half domination, advances to the state championship next Saturday. Jack Davies will lead his troops against either Union or Randolph. Montclair looking for its first state championship since 1983, and overall its 19th championship since 1941. The final once again, Montclair 42, Morris Knolls 21. We'll be back to wrap things up after this. Montclair advances to next weekend's championship game. The Mounties now 10-0 on the year. We are joined by Terrence Garrison, Jason Curry, Lamont Ponton, and head coach Jack Davies. First, Terrence, congratulations on your performance. 176 yards and 2 touchdowns. That first half was a shootout.
Yes, it was. Well, our line, I got to give it all to the line because they really put it out for me. And I just went through the holes. They kept the defensive line off me.
Now, you come into this game knowing that you played this club last year. They run the same offense. Coach feels they're a mirror image of last year's team, and they beat you 18-0. Was revenge talked about this week?
Well, when we was coming out on the field, everybody was saying payback time, payback time. But through the week, we just concentrated on the game.
Concentrated, obviously, very well. What happened at halftime? What adjustments did the coaching staff talk about?
Now, they was asking the offensive line what holes is open for me and Corey. They was asking what holes is open so we could run more, run up the middle some more and score some more points.
Well, it worked out well as your club scored 2 touchdowns in the second half, and you limited Morris Knolls to no points going on to the victory. We congratulate you on the performance, and we wish you best of luck next week.
Thank you.
Terrence Garrison led the team in rushing, 176 yards, 2 touchdowns. Jason Curry caught 2 passes for touchdowns today. Well of a performance, 2 acrobatic grabs. The first one in particular when you laid out.
Oh, yeah. It was just a great pass that Pont threw, and I was just fortunate enough to catch it.
Now, that second one, you were open for a while, and when Lamont's pass, he had to throw it high, couldn't really plant that well. Gave the defenders a chance to come around you, but you were able to outleap them.
Oh, yeah. I like to rebound a lot, so I just pretended it was just a basketball game and went up for the rebound.
And you had the presence of mind as you were coming down to stick the hand up in the air with the number 1 sign.
Yeah. Yeah, just one more game, we'll be number 1.
Now, this club has a lot of weapons. We saw today Corey and Terrence run the ball, but we also saw yourself and Sudavar and Marriott catch the ball. this team is difficult to stop offensively. If you stop one thing, there's something else that works.
Well, yeah, we have a lot of weapons, like you said, with Corey and Terrence and me, Brian Marriott, and Steve Sudavar. And if you stop one thing, we'll just go to something else. And lucky enough, we are fortunate enough that we came away with the victory.
Well, congratulations. You're 10th in a row this year, and wish you the best of luck next week.
Thank you.
Jason Curry, the outstanding flanker for this Montclair team. And here's quarterback Lamont Ponton. And Lamont, we didn't expect a shootout affair. We were thinking maybe it'd be a little lower scoring, but that first half, it seemed every time you touched the ball, you were able to put the ball in the end zone.
Yeah, well, we expected that when we came into the game because we wanted revenge. Unfinished business this year.
Well, we talked about that a little bit. Theirs is a fairly new team, a lot of turnover, but a lot of returning starters from last year's club, and obviously that was an advantage for Montclair.
Yes, it was, because we feel that nobody can beat us. And we want it bad this year. We want it really bad.
Well, you've got one more game to go. Well, we wish you the best of luck in that. We congratulate you on your performance today.
Thank you.
Lamont Ponton, the quarterback for Montclair, and now Coach Jack Davies steps in. And Coach, the defensive coaches in that first half had to be scratching their heads as to what was going on. It was exciting for the fans, though.
I've never seen a high school first half like that in my life. I mean, where each, and in my opinion, was really the two quarterbacks. Lamont was fantastic. Their kid was putting the ball on the money every time, and as a result, each time a team was in long yards, a quarterback would make the play. Of course, Jason Curry helped it a lot too, and it would sustain the drive. It was an incredible first half of football.
Now, we talked to Terrence about what adjustments were made. Of course, he talked about the offensive adjustments, blocking on the line and things like that, but defensively, you shut him out in the second half. So what did you talk about at halftime? What did you shut down?
Well, Patsy Cordo, our defensive coordinator, made a slight adjustment so that we weren't as predictable the second half as we were the first half. They had a pretty good read on us after a while what look we were going to be in. He changed it up somewhat, and I think it helped confuse them a little bit, although we never really stuffed them. I mean, they're a darn good football team. They're tough to stop.
Oh, no question about it. It was a whale of a football game. You move on into the final. You've been there before.
I don't know what to think about it.
But we're not going to talk so much about the final, but just talk about this club. You've been to finals before. 84 and 85, you brought a team to the championship. You'll bring a third team to the championship. Where is this club right now? You'll have a better picture, I'm sure, after the final game of the season. But this is a pretty good Montclair team. Where does it rank?
It's a very good Montclair team. The thing they have to like about these kids is that when things... They take things personal when something goes wrong. Like last year, we lost 3 football games to St. Joe's, to Passaic, and Morris Knolls. We scrimmaged St. Joe's early in the season. We had a lot of kids sick at the time. Every one of them dragged their butt into school somehow that day because they wanted another chance at St. Joe's. They asked for the scrimmage, and we got it. Then they paid back Passaic last week and Morris Knolls this week. So they took those things personal, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's a competitive fire they have within them, and they do have confidence. They do have confidence, and Lamont is a large part of that because he's very cool and he makes a big play when we need it.
Well, he made a number of big plays today, as did the entire team. Congratulations on the victory. Good luck next week.
Thank you very much.
All right, Jack Davies goes away with the victory. And, Jack was ill this week, under the weather. He didn't come to school on Tuesday, called in sick. And this morning I said to him, how are you doing? He said, I'm getting over it. This will be the final push over the top. This will make him recover completely.
Well, I tell you, he's got a tremendous staff, outstanding kids, and, he's the kind of coach that can really... lead a group of kids that have that kind of confidence and that kind of ability. And, Ponton said it very distinctly. We don't think anybody can beat us. And when you have a club like that, that's led by a quarterback who has that feeling, and that permeates the rest of the team, the coaching staff just directs them. And he said they take it personally. Well, as he said, that's not a bad thing, because taking it personally is the kind of thing that inspires people, gets emotion going, and this club has ridden that sea of emotion a long way to the finals.
Well, they will host the championship game next week. TV3 will be back for that North 2 Group 4 final. Late in the game, in fact, after the final whistle had sounded, an announcement was made that it was Randolph, which defeated Union by a score of 6-0. Now, we're assuming that is accurate information. If it is, it sets up the state's all-time winningest team, 48 in a row, Randolph, against Montclair. And as we mentioned toward the end of the game, it was Montclair that ended Westfield's 48-game unbeaten streak. this is a game you don't want to miss. We hope you'll watch it on TV3, but you should find your way here to Woodman. It should be a whale of a ball game.
Oh, it should be a tremendous game. No matter who won that game, whether it was Union or Randolph, it's going to be a battle because both clubs have tremendous teams, and they're going to come in here and face this Montclair club. And I think the fact that Montclair is at home is going to be a big factor next week also.
They win today. They defeat Morris Knolls in the semifinals. They move on to the championship game for the first time since 1985. For Al Reynoso, I'm Matt Laughlin. Thanks for joining us, everyone. Have a good night.